Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. We are from Group 2 for Section 2 GEO Environment Engineering. So we would like to present our project, which is contamination site remediation due to petroleum leakage.
Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nuradila from AZLAN, NORAZMAN number CF20109. Petroleum is one of the main resources that have been intensely used in a lot of industry like power industry, petrochemical industry and transportation. However, the widespread use of petroleum have given the negative consequences to the environment, human health and global climate. There are types of sources of petroleum pollutant in soil, water and air. First is interaction of petroleum. Second is improper disposal residual oil refined. Third is oil spill from underground pipeline. Fourth is leakage petroleum during the transportation. And lastly is leakage petroleum from storage tank. So therefore, in this study, we are focusing on studying the behavior of petroleum to evaluate the impact on environment and provide suggestions for mitigation to overcome the problem by using the knowledge in geo-environment. The harmful component in petroleum to the environment will lead to the air, water and soil pollutant. The major sources of the petroleum such as sulfur, gas methane, carbon monoxide will give effect to the environment such as cancer, causes development and reproductive problem, increment in carbonate corrosive head, drop the pH of sea, harming the aquatic life, and lastly adverse effect of plant cultivation of soil pollution. Problem statement. There are two types of accident in nature that we have found in our research study. First is oil spill at Portland 2013 due to the collision of two vessels. The spill oil is near to the coastline and affect the soil contamination at the coastal area. Second is petroleum pipeline leaking in the Johor 2012. This give effect to the agriculture activity nearby to the soil pollution. So the objective of this study is to determine the impact of leakage of petroleum and to identify the suitable site remediation technique of the cancelling contaminant.
My name is Nuradila binti Lile, metric number CF200 and 200. So I would like to present about the FELA table, which is FELA table consists of fact, idea, learning outcome and also the action should be taken to prevent the incident from happening. For the fact, in this FELA table, we divide into 5 main accidents that usually happen for the petroleum, including oil spill from underground pipeline, leakage petroleum during transportation, improper disposal of residual of oil refined, leakage petroleum from storage tank, and also improper drilling of petroleum, which is the excavation of soil from the ground. So basically, the idea that we get from the fact that we have searched is the contaminant of the petroleum content is crude oil, natural gas, sulfur compound, trace element, impurity and contaminants. As we can see, the petroleum actually is a complex substance, which is the combination of this component and will become the petroleum. So definitely, if the petroleum leak to the environment, there will be a lot of negative impact, which will be affected the environment and also the community surrounding. For the learning outcome, we identify how the accident can be happen, which is maybe included the corrosion or soil movement, or maybe poor maintenance, or maybe there's something wrong about the design. So how the accident actually affect the environment, which is included the soil, groundwater, surface water, which is when the petroleum leak, it will be flow through all the void, and the void will be flow to the area nearby, which is maybe the groundwater, surface water and soil. Then it will be affected the wildlife or tree, flora and fauna, and also the human. So how it will be affected the community itself, which is it will be affected community health, which is for the particular in groundwater and also surface water. When they consume the water, they will be affected their health will be affected, and also comfort, maybe because the odor from the petroleum itself. So for the action should be taken in order to minimize the impact, the negative impact from the petroleum leakage is remediation, stakeholder role, including the local authority, employer, and also the employee, local community. All of them have their own role in order to control the accident, which is like a local authority. They need to make sure all the employer and also employee follow all the guideline or regulation that have been stated. For the employer and employer, maybe they need to have a regular audit to make sure all of the worker follow the rule that have been provided. And also local community need to have a good observation. If they see that's something like leakage in the sea, they need to take a prompt action by asking the authority or complain the authority for them to immediately do something in order to prevent the spread of the petroleum. Then another action should be taken is using up-to-date technology such as a leak detection system in order to prevent a serious incident that will be bigger impact towards the environment and also people surrounding.
So hi everyone, my name is Chris Anna Matrix CF200139. Now I'll continue to present about the effect of petroleum leakage on the environment. So in a simple way, it means that what will be happen if the petroleum interact with the soil. So the first is the soil will be coated by the petroleums. If the petroleum penetrate into the soil, so it will change the color of the soil from the brown to the gray and dark brown, or maybe the more dark color lah. So if the dark color, it will more prone to absorb the heat, so it will lower the refraction function of the soil. So the soil will become heat and also lose ability to absorb the water, and because some of the part it will penetrate with the petroleum, especially the upper part, but the lower part is not penetrate with the petroleum, so it will cause the upper part will be the dry because it cannot absorb the water, but the lower part of the soil will become the excess water. So it will result in the process of the anaerobic in the soil. Besides that, abnormal of the soil water level will also cause the soil become the nitrification and ammonification. So not only for effect in the water, but also effect to the air also in the soil. So the petroleum will the soil coated by the petroleum will also exude the air from the soil, so it will become the soil become more no stable and no strength, and also it's not suitable for the plants or crops to grow. So next is about the chemical reaction if the petroleum interact with the soil. So the first is the high concentrate, because the petroleum contain high concentration of the sodium ion, so it will cause the so the sodium ion will absorption and replacing the pH balancing caption in the soil and increase the pH value of the soil. So maybe it will not suitable for some of the original living things or plant or animals in the soil to continue live in the soil also. Besides that, the petroleum also contain high hydrocarbon, so it will increase the carbon and nitrogen ratio in the soil. So because the increase of the carbon, so the humus will pull in the humic and fulvic axis, and also if the organic carbon increase, so it will decrease the nitrogen like the phosphorus and potassium in the soil. So it also will affect the ecosystem surrounding the the polluted soil. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is SUHAIDA bin JUMAIEDY. My metric number is CF200-119. Now I will continue for this presentation. There are 5 types of remediation of contaminated soil, which are mechanical, physical, chemical, and biological. So this is the list of each type, as you can see on this slide. So the remediation that's suitable for oil pollution of soil are mechanical, physical, and biological. Mechanical is removal, physical is soil flushing, and biological are phytoremediation and bioremediation. Now, I want to explain about mechanical removal. Removal of the contaminated soil by excavation, and the excavated soil will be transported and treated in other place. There are advantages and disadvantages of this study. The advantages are rapid, easy to control, and easy to monitor, while the disadvantages are cost excavation and transportation. Second, it is not suitable for the larger scale. Third, habitat disruption. Fourth is soil structure, and lastly, biodiversity harder to be re-established. Okay, next is physical, which is soil flushing. It is to remove pollution, especially the heavy metal, from the soil with the concept of injection and recirculation. There are some advantages and disadvantages. The advantage are it is suitable for the pollution like heavy metal, gasoline, fuel, oil, and pesticide. Secondly, it is suitable for wider scale pollution. Third is minimal soil disturbance, short to medium treatment time, and lastly, lower cost. While the disadvantage are required skilled worker. Secondly, it is only effect for the permeable and coarse texture of soil, and lastly, potential risk to the polluted and groundwater.
Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to Doctor. My name is HANI binti NORAZMAN. My metric number is CF200-159. So I'm going to explain about the remediation that we think that is suitable for oil pollution in soil, which is the biological remediation. So the first bioremediation is where we use the green plants and microorganisms such as microbes and also bacteria to degrade or transfer the contaminant soil, where the microorganism will work itself. We use the natural ability to neutralize the soil contaminants. Okay, next is the biological remediation of phytoremediation, where we utilize the living plants to purify the contaminated water, soil, and air. Okay, the process require a vegetation, which is we have to have a plant with a root, where the root will uptake all the nutrients from the soil into the living plants, and the living plants will absorb all the nutrient, and also we neutralize and detox the contaminant and stabilize the harmful particles. Okay, and lastly, for the conclusion, okay, what we can say that based from the environmental engineering, um, environmental engineering is a combination comprised of 3 types of engineering, which is all 3 types of engineering closely related to the environmental, which is the natural um, resources, which is soil, water, and air, which is what for water resource engineering. Environmental engineering also um, geotechnical engineering. So the environmentals, based on what we have studied and done, the environmental engineering helps identify the remediation of soil and water and also air pollution. So based from the case study, the event of the oil pollution can be solved with the knowledge of environmental engineering, where first we identify the issue that occurs and the effects towards the living things. We can say we can identify the potential risks to the natural living things. So it can be seen that in the FILA table we have list all the possibility how the oil pollution can happen and effects and what are kind of a remediation that can be done. Second, we analyze the soil characteristic. We know that the soil characteristic can be affected by the soil by the contaminants of the oil pollution. So, based on with the knowledge of geoenvironmental engineering, we will perform the soil investigation in order to know the the contaminants substance in the soil contaminant, and therefore we can find the suitable remediation for the soil contaminants. So lastly, the environmental also helps promotes and provides sustainable management practice to prevent a future oil pollution incident. Okay, that's all from our group. Thank you.